little bit about where we're at with our pyramid, and I'm going to try to not be too boring and not gloss over too many details at the same time. So this is kind of an update. For anybody who saw the first video, you'll see definite progression. We've got a little budding village now. So there's probably about 25 players on the team, with a few tryouts still proving their worth. They won't get a house in our village until they've made the team. I just need to see a little dedication. So I'm going to take you into the village now, and take you into. I'll start you at the core. So these this area you might recognize if you saw the first video, but the main building has changed quite a bit. This is our rail house. This used to be our house, and we had a little guest room on the side. That's now the kitchen, farmer's kitchen. So this is our rail house. This is the central hub of activity. We've got 3 rail lines running out of it, and all that stuff is controlled on the inside here. The tracks. This is a cargo line for our porter, who specializes in bringing goods in from all the job sites, and then sorting them all out, organizing them, and then shipping them to their destination. Track 1 north heads off to 2 possible destinations, either the dungeon and the sacrificial altar and our iron mine. And the second destination would be to the north side of the village, also past a new iron mine that we're setting up, and then onto the pyramid. So that's controlled by this lever here. You can see the redstone turns on, and that controls a switch down at the end. And then track 2 heads west, and these are the same 2 lines that we were running before. Track 2's it's a fair bit longer than it used to be. It goes to 2 destinations, one to a gold mine and a coal mine, and then the second destination would be a copper pit, our quarry, our tree farm, our reed farm, as well as a manganese mine. So there's quite a few things out that way, and our most recent addition is track 3 south, that heads over to the farm and to our creosote coke furnaces. So I took you down here before. This is where we organize and store all our cobblestone, and then it gets taken out by the masons who work with stone, and they convert it all to smoothstone, and they put it back in the boxes in a certain order, and the porter takes it out. So that's all the stone we use to build the pyramid comes in here. This is our incinerator room. This is where we burn things we don't need anymore, so that gets them out of the world. And this is our warehouse. So this is where we keep all our sand, dirt, sandstone, gravel, and then other things too. We've got some ores, copper, iron, manganese, zinc, and then some odds and ends I think are kept over here. Just miscellaneous stuff. So overflow goes into the warehouse. These are some houses. All our houses are pretty cookie cutter. I don't let anybody alter the shape of their house because I want people to focus on building a pyramid, not building their own little houses. So, and I want kind of a uniform architecture throughout the village. So you see, this is where a carpenter lives, and everybody gets furnishings and they can arrange their place how they like. I just don't want them knocking down walls and adding windows and stuff. Everybody's stuff is color coded. Carpenters get brown armor as well as brown colored wool to decorate their place. This guy's a mason. He gets orange. Masons get orange. We'll pass through by some other houses. This is the Surveyor's Office. Main job of the surveyor is to explore the map and mark deposits and do measurements, block calculations, as well as managing string and wool and dyes, color wool, things of that nature. So one thing you notice that we use throughout in our system is shipping and receiving. So the surveyor would come in, he would check his receiving box if there's anything that he's receiving to do his work, and then he would do his work on the workbench and then ship out any products he creates that have destinations. Farmer's kitchen. Food comes in here into receiving. These guys do what they do, cook it up, send it out, and shipping. Wood stoves, juice makers, because you need thirst. You need hydration, because we have a thirst mod. So if you don't drink, you die. This way is the Blacksmiths Forge. And in here we have our ore crushers. We crush ores in here. And they get stored here. We're using the Metallurgy 2 mod, so that gives us copper and zinc. Iron's already in the game. Manganese, steel, brass. There's some other stuff we haven't discovered yet, like silver, tin, platinum. And we also have the ability to mix other alloys, metals in it, to make other alloys and different kinds of ingots. So again, blacksmith comes in, checks his receiving box. He's got some jobs to do. Does what he's got to do on the anvil, or pulls out the items required for the job, and makes repairs, and then ships them out. So this is an example of a work order for the blacksmith to fulfill. So it's a work order from an engineer saying we need 20 picks, 20 copper picks, and 10 iron picks at the manganese mine. So that would come in through receiving. The blacksmith would come in, make the picks, ship them, and they all go together. Porter guy comes in, picks up the shipping, takes it out to the destination, then burns the book down in the incinerator room. This is the Mason's Lodge. These guys do everything that's stone related, so concrete, brick, stone, stairs, buttons, plates, pressure plates, slabs, anything chiseled, marble, granite, limestone. Anything stone related happens in here. These are coal furnaces, they only accept coal. So they come in, do their receiving, do what they gotta do, ship it. And around back here, upstairs, this is the landscaping office. Landscaper would come in here, receive some saplings and some dirt. Basically, landscapers are responsible for keeping the place pretty, because in the spring, grass grows like crazy, saplings pop up, we don't want those around town, and in the winter, snow falls and it piles up, so he's got to shovel that snow. There's also a bit of terraforming responsibilities in that there. So shipping, receiving, storage for tools. I'm just going to skip today here. Porter's office. Porter's responsible for making the books that we use for work orders, and obviously managing all the import and export. Engineer's workshop. This is where I work. I'm getting some cupboards put in, so I would have made a work order to a carpenter to come in and install 3 cupboards right here. Those green flags would mark the location. So anything engineering related, whether it's transportation engineering, like mechanical engineering, electronic engineering, redstone, or civil engineering, planning of structures and such, takes place here. For rolling out metals and an engine to power it, shipping and receiving. So a couple work orders have come back. This would be a work order to a carpenter that's come back, so the engineer asked the carpenter to repair this rail house, and the carpenter made the repairs, shipped the work order. The work order comes back to the engineer to say that the repairs have been done. This is the guest room, 201 and guest room 202. This is where tryouts stay. They come in, they get a little kit, starter kit, and then we let them run for 3 or 4 days just to see if they're dedicated and whatnot. And if they're good, they can follow the rules and they're into what we're doing, then we'll make them team members and they get a house. We don't just throw up houses for guys that take a tour and then decide they want to play for a couple hours, because it requires a lot of planning and finding the right materials and getting people to go out and build the building, so we don't just hand out houses. Over here, Mason's well, they use this to make concrete. Back here is the Carpenter's Workshop, and all the wood related stuff gets done in here. So anything wood related, also furnishings, and glass related, carpentry related things. So chairs and fences, ladders, yada yada. All that stuff gets done in here. They come in, they check the receiving. There's a work order. Carpenters, yeah, there's the work order for the 3 cupboards. So they come in, they check their work order, they build the cupboards using their materials. They go and install the cupboards. They come back and they would ship that work order. That work order would get sent back to the engineer's office, and the engineer could inspect the job. Not too hard to turn around and look and see the 3 cupboards are installed. And when that's done, the job is complete. This is a carpenter's house. And she's got a little rabbit, and a desk with a laptop and table, and a carpenter skip around. It's fall right now, so everything's kind of brown. This is a farmer's house. Farmers get green. Everybody puts their stuff the way they like it. This is the farm. This is our chicken coop. These are really great chickens. We need lots of feathers because we make a lot of books at the post office and we use those for work orders. So we need a large number of chickens. Mushroom hut, grow the mushrooms. Cattle, numbers are really low right now. Normally there's probably about 100 cows in here. Sheep, we use their wool for lots of things. String, colored wool on the pyramid too. There's a pig pen at the very back there. Vegetable garden right now, I guess it's just pumpkins and melons. Normally there's carrots and potatoes growing in here. Storage shed. Surplus of eggs. Silo, we store our wheat in here. And this is obviously the barn. So shipping and receiving. These guys have their tools for doing their farming, the fertilizers for growing the stuff. Some beds up in the haylofts. This is our coke furnace, produces charcoal and creosote. Creosote we use for making rails. This is quite the system. So 27 furnaces in here, 6 more to go. So we load our logs up into here. And when those furnaces are done, I'd press this button. A cart would come out, extract all the logs from the chest, and then deliver a stack of logs to each one of the 27 furnaces, and then make its rounds back through the system and pick up all the charcoal that was produced from the previous round. That would come here, and it would get dumped into this box by this little automation process. And then here is a switch that lets the liquid cart come out the back and then head through the system, pick up all the oil that's produced in the furnaces. So it took about a month to build this. Over time, it's a slow process. All the bricks require clay. Clay requires mining, and got to find those deposits out there. So I'll take you back into town. embarking, boarding, and disembarking system set up. So when you come in, you get knocked off your cart, you pick it up. Okay, let's just do a quick little tour. This is a mason's house, or head mason. This is the Night Mage's house, purple for the Night Mage. This house is available. This is a carpenter's house. This is the Night Mage's laboratory, so this is where potions get brewed. Weapons and tools and armor get enchanted here. Shipping and receiving. The Night Mage is also responsible for fighting mobs. This carpenter will need a new door. He'll fix it, I'm sure, as he notices it. As soon as he notices it. Go down here. This is a miner's house. Miners get red colored stuff. And my place. This house is available. Farmer's house. It's got a couch. Another miner's house. This is a blacksmith's house. Black for blacksmiths. This is the post office. This is where people would come in, grab a book, write the work order that they need completed, and then stick it in the drop box. Order comes around and picks it up. Here's where we get our personal deliveries. So, some boxes upstairs too. Porter's place. Porters get yellow wool. This is a miner's house. This is the cafe. This is kind of a help yourself to a bit of grub and drink spot. This is another miner's house back here. This is also a miner's house. Not sure how that goes. And another miner's house. This is our little spot where former members go. I'll change this today. So this was our wheat system. It's recently been decommissioned. We're going to tear it down and use this lakefront property for new houses and such. This is our exchange bank. This is where we bring our gems. We press our coins in here using our precious metals, and we craft so it's kind of an exchange bank where you can we can convert our currency that we use to trade with NPC villagers. This is the furnace system that we were using before. We've just now housed it and then dedicated it to this wall is all charcoal for fuel. This is strictly burning cobblestone now. And around back is our coal furnace system, which is also used for doing stone, but in a more efficient way. So we just need to get our hands on a nice fat coal bed, and then we're rocking. In the meantime, it's charcoal that comes out of the other furnaces that we're using. fed by logs. So that's the nuts and bolts of the village. Quickly what we'll do is we'll hit a couple spots. Let's see, let's go to the quarry. We'll go to the pit and the quarry. On the wrong track. So some of the quarry's still there, we're still using that. We've expanded the line quite a bit. We'll get out of the way. I hate when animals get on the track. Time. That's our water tower. It collects rainwater and turns it into drinkable fresh water. There's an old iron mine that we've exhausted. There's our boat launch. We use that to traverse the water system as a form of transportation to get some of the more remote regions. We can't just lay down rail to them, so we use the rivers. This is where we grow birch. And we harvest it. We use birch as our primary construction material as well as a fuel source. And we use it for charcoal creation. This is wheat farm, reed farm, cocoa farm back there, and there's a bit of some farmer's house. Cactus in the back, can't quite see it. There it is. There's the cactus there. We use that green dye pretty heavily. We use a lot of reed for paper because we're making a lot of books. This is all the way out to our manganese mine. It's an open pit mine we've been running for about a month now. Gives us the ability to make steel. Yeah, maybe almost a month and a half. So miners are working out here, and they're doing it in sort of open pit fashion. And they'll push these walls back until it stops showing us manganese. That's the zinc at the back. We're good on zinc, so we're not going to pursue that zinc until we need to. But they've got quarters here so that they don't go back to town every day. It just takes too long to go back and forth. So we always set up job sites where they can sleep at night. Everybody's got to be in at night. They get receiving, so they get the tools they need to do the job, and then they get food and drink. And then when they're out here digging away, they ship whatever materials they carve. So the porter, when he used to make a trip out here, he'll come out here and he'll pick all this stuff up and send it down the line in carts. That's what's going on here. Oh, that was close. We've got an iron pit, or iron mine we're setting up off in the distance there. It'll yield a little bit of iron, not much, but we set up a line, a wooden rail line to it. That'll give us a little extra iron. We have so much copper that we can afford to go after that stuff with our copper tools. Farmers' orders for farming. There's the wood line up there. Plot 1, this is plot 2, plot 3, plot 4. This is where the carpenters come and do their, the carpenters come and do their lumberjacking, so they get the tools and the food, and then they ship out whatever logs they cut. And they sleep here, obviously. This is the quarry. This is where we have been mining pretty much since the beginning. I'd say about a month and a half. Miners' quarters. This is where we've gotten the bulk of our stone that we've used in building the pyramid. So this is the quarry. This is all by hand. There's no like mods helping us dig faster and like that. That's one block at a time. And you guys can take it. Right now they're working on the back, trying to get this back layer down to ground level. So we installed the line so that they can take it to the back there and get back in time for night because it's just too far to run. So that is the quarry. That was a lot of work. On the river, which we need to use in order to access our copper pit. We discovered this copper maybe 4 months ago, 5 months ago, and we've been working it pretty hard ever since. Kind of gave us a break from the quarry too, because the quarry started to yield a lot less iron once we got to the perimeter of the iron deposit. So but we need the river to access it. Miners' quarters, 4 beds, shipping and receiving. They get the tools and food to do the job. And a lot of digging's taking place here. This was all copper. You can see some, can't really see it, but this is all copper through here. This is a safety platform because this is actually a canyon below. This is all copper through here. So this will get dug up. I'll just change this today. So that's all copper. And this is only half of the deposit. The other half runs back that way. And there's zinc throughout it too. So we yielded quite a bit of zinc, more than we needed, that's for sure. This copper all runs, well, pretty much this height, all the way to that depth back there. It's all through here. So these guys will open this up. But yeah. Someone was in here digging it out. And there's a bit of iron over here. That's why that's only cut to that level, because that's as far as we needed to go to get the iron. We'll go this way instead of going back the way we came. It leads to the reed farm anyway, so. Here's the new wood line I was talking about. The rail's really slow. But that leads through the desert and off to the ocean's edge, where we have a small iron deposit that we're there's not much there. So quickly I'll show you the altar and the dungeon. I'll try one. Some iron up in here. We're just getting the rest of. Shipping, receiving, beds to sleep. This is our dungeon. This is where the night mages come down and fight mobs to earn XP. So all the weapons and tools that come out of the Blacksmiths Forge get shipped over to the night mages lab, and the night mages use their experience points to enchant the weapons and tools. See what kind of condition this place is in. Oh yeah, there's been some accidents. Creepers blowing up. Yeah, so they come down here and they fight for an XP. I've got it in peaceful right now so that the mobs aren't spawning. There's just no way I could do a tour with mobs spawning. And a little combat monitor, so the night mage will put his stuff in here before he goes into battle, so he doesn't lose anything valuable. So a lot of that stuff will end up topside and then getting shipped. And then down here is the night mage's sacrificial altar. This is where, when other players have earned XP, they can come and put their stuff in the chest and then get up on the altar, and the night mage will kill them and get their experience points, so that we can make use of their experience, since the night mage is the only one that can use the enchanting table. And this is our portal to the nether, which we've reached a few times, and we've got a small nether wart patch just outside the other side of this portal, where the night mages and farmers, night mage can escort the farmers in to do a little bit of nether wart farming or use some potions. Okay. There's still some iron in here. Okay, and let's go take a quick peek at the gold and coal mine. quarters here. Let's just check the stock bar. Place to sleep. So there's some gold in here, some coal as well. And you can sort of tell by the damage. It's not being mined strictly with picks. Like this, you can tell is all pick work. This would be dynamite sticks and bundles going off. So this whole wall will get pushed back, the gold will get exposed, and then we'll get what we can out of it. There's all coal through here. See some of it over there. It's around here. So we're working this area for those materials. And that's those are miners' quarters. I kind of missed it. But there's miners' quarters there too for when we were working the hole in there. That's a pretty big hole. Check out the coke furnaces. I can show you that if they're done cooking the logs. Okay, you see some coke furnace action. A lot of work went into getting that thing set up. There's the oil storage tanks. Let's see, looks like the furnaces are done. So when you, oh, this one's not. These are almost done. A couple left. So yeah, the wood makes charcoal and produces oil. Let's see how far along it is. That's done. Weird. Surprised this one's not further along than this one. Yeah. They're almost done. Those will be another 6 minutes. These ones will be another half an hour. Yeah, this will be another 24 minutes. 3 minutes per. Anyway, what happens is the logs get filled up. They come along here. They deposit all the coal or logs into these furnaces. Comes around the back, deposits them, and then it swings back around, and then it picks up all the charcoal out of the sides, and then delivers it. That's how it works. And then we send that liquid cart around, that creosote cart around to pick up all the creosote out of the furnaces. So I guess I didn't get to show you that. I didn't plan on showing you, but I figured if it was done, we might as well give it a go. Okay, so now on to the main attraction. Go to the pyramid. Another little booster in the rail right back here. And we found iron underneath here too, so we just set this up. Start using that mining camp once we've exhausted the other 2 iron deposits. So this is where the pyramid's at now. Just finishing up the 12th layer. here. This is where the guys are laying stone can run in here at night. And they got food and drink and shelter and a place to lay their heads. This is center. So in order for you to sort of get an appreciation for how big this thing is, we're standing in the Queen's Chamber. This is the, oh geez, floor plan of the Queen's Chamber. I was on creative. Yeah, floor plan of the Queen's Chamber. So it's 230 by 230. It'll be 146 high, which, when we're done, will take us up to about here. That's how high this thing will be when it's done. Let's get this off of creative game mode before I do any more damage. Show you real briefly inside. You could pull up a Google image of the cross-section of the pyramid and you'd see the shafts and the chambers. So this is the descending passage. And a lot of math went into figuring out the exact stair-stepping pattern to recreate the angle. To the best of my knowledge, this is all mathematically accurate. I've got two sets of information telling me the depth of this thing and the pit. And I've seen 3 meters, which this is now, and I've seen 11 meters. I went with 3 meters because that was the, as far as I could tell, the definitive measurements for everything else. So if I find something that says, confirms it at 11, then we'll make that 11. I suspect it's 11, but I just went with what I thought was more official. This area back here, at the back of the subterranean chamber, is the rock formations. They're obviously a bit smoother in real life. If you pull up a photo of the rock formations in the subterranean chamber, you'll see that they're not blocks like that. But there's a descending passage, goes 16 meters south and just ends abruptly. Nobody knows why. Little antechamber. Back up the descending passage. There's a juncture here where granite blocks were plugging the ascending passage up to the Grand Gallery, and that's what tipped Al Mamoon off when they were breaking into the pyramid. I don't know if it was like in the 1700s or what, but they were digging. They dug a tunnel. These guys dug a tunnel through the side of the pyramid trying to find the entrance, or trying to find passageways because they couldn't find the entrance. And they heard these granite plugs slide down this and block that off, and then they dug their way to the plugs. So the host crashed. I have no idea what I was talking about when it crashed, but I'm pretty much where I left off on the tour. So the ascending passageway leads up to the Grand Gallery. You'd have to pull up photos of it to see what it'll look like when it's finished. But this is the this will be the Grand Gallery, and then there's a horizontal passageway that leads out to the Queen's Chamber, and then back here, there will be a passageway that goes up towards the clouds leading to the king's chamber where the sarcophagus is found. And these chambers will have air shafts going off of them. And over here is the well shaft. And that takes you down. And there's a certain pattern to these blocks so that they simulate the angle as closely as possible. This is the grotto. There's a weird shape to it. This is as close as I think I can get it to what the real world measurements are. And the shaft continues to descend and then change angles a bit more. It descends further and changes angles yet again. And we're back down at the bottom of the descending passageway. And you'd recognize this, the subterranean chamber. So that's where the well shaft comes out. And the theory is that the builders had left themselves, had dug this well shaft as an escape route for once they had completed the, I don't know if it was the bottom that whatever they were doing, they were trapped down there. They needed to dig their way out or something like that. So, the long haul back to the surface. And when the masons come out and build a layer, they start here on the corner and inset it by one, depending on the pattern. And they pull the stone out of the box, they run it back and forth to the end, row by row. And then when they run out of stone, they've got another box full and ready for them. The porter brings this stuff out and fills up these boxes, and they pull it out of the boxes and lay it down in order. So the boxes in the cobblestone processing area in the basement of the rail house correspond with these boxes that are lined up here as a way for us to keep track of where we're at in our process, as well as to maximize the efficiency of all the processes involved in bringing the cobble in, processing it to smoothstone in the furnaces, and then porting it out here and then laying it down in order. So it's all pretty tight. Ride back into town. Show you briefly. If anybody is interested in redstone, this wheat system, didn't really talk about it in the last video. I said I would, but now that we're not using it anymore, I can't really demonstrate it. But this would all be planted wheat. There was a tower out back too. It's not there anymore because the rail house expanded into that area. But wheat would get planted in these rows. And then there's an area down here where the farmers would go down a stairwell and then down a ladder and press a button just to activate the towers. And this is sort of like a peek at what used to be. So they go down and press that button, and that would fire up this whole redstone machine where a signal would get sent out and it would circulate. That signal originates here, and then it would come through and hit this pulse generator. It would turn that signal into a pulse. The pulse would go up that way and then branch off over here, and it would hit this NOR gate, and that NOR gate would turn a light on to let the farmers know that the wheat has started being harvested, and then the rest of the signal would come through here, and it would hit this implies gate, which would detect whether or not it was the first lap that the signal had made, the pulse had made through the system. And if it was the first lap, then it would hit this redstone clock. I'm afraid to break that block because I'm not really sure what's there now. So I would rather break this block. And the pulse would go through this clock, it would delay it for 45 seconds, and then pass it down out the back, and it would the signal would wind around, and it would hit these T flip-flop parallel series 2-bit binary T flip-flop clock counters, and they would keep track of how many laps the redstone is made around the clock. When the signals, when the first signal had passed through, it would hit this pulse generator, turn it into a pulse, send it to this NOR gate. This NOR gate would send a solid signal back to the water tower activation NOR gate and hold the signal off so the water didn't continue to flow. And then after the fourth lap, which is 3 minutes, both of these lights would be on, and the signal would be true for the AND gate. The AND gate would send the signal over to the master reset pulse generator, signal pulse generator, and this pulse would go through all of the gates and reset them all back to 0 state. Anyways, a lot of work figuring that out. The wheat would flow down through here and other channels that you're not really seeing. There's a bunch of water channels underneath here. It all winds around the water channels. That was a little bit of an electronic engineering feat for us to get that working. So that is pretty much everything in a nutshell. Everybody has different jobs. I didn't show you this, I remembered about halfway through the tour. This is the miners. Not that there's anything special about it, but this is the demolitions office. This is where the miners do their crafting of dynamite and TNT. So we use dynamite sticks. This is custom stuff. We would use dynamite sticks and bundles of dynamite. And they come in here and they get their work orders, and they see where they're supposed to be working today. They would craft any dynamite that they need and drop off any stuff in shipping that they need to get rid of. But that's it. Everybody's got their own job to do, and there's 3 or 4 people at each position. So when we get the numbers up, we'll have a nice little steady flow of work moving. And I can't think of anything else, but yeah, that's pretty much everything. Right now we're at 22% complete on the pyramid, and bit by bit, every day. So thanks for checking that out.